What if everything you've been told about how to lose belly fat is completely wrong? And what if the real answer has been sitting in your kitchen this entire time? Millions of people are cutting calories, killing themselves at the gym, and still watching the scale refuse to move. But a growing wave of men and women are now using a strange pink salt trick every morning and reporting dramatic changes in their waistline in just days, not months. This video is going to change the way you think about weight loss, fat burning, and your metabolism forever. You're going to learn why your belly fat isn't really a willpower problem, it's a biology problem, and how this counterintuitive trick is helping real people eliminate abdominal fat without extreme diets or expensive programs. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or like your body is working against you, then what you're about to hear was made for you. Stay until the end, because we're also covering the healthy meal plans and weight loss tips that amplify this trick and make your results last. This isn't another gimmick. This is science your doctor probably never mentioned, and it might be the most important 10 minutes you spend on your health this year. There's a moment that almost everyone who has ever struggled with their weight knows intimately. It's not when you step on the scale and see a number you don't recognize. It's not when you try on a pair of jeans that used to fit and feel that quiet, suffocating disappointment creep in. The real moment, the one that stays with you, is when you've done everything right. You've eaten less, moved more, followed all the advice, trusted the process, and still, nothing changes. That moment isn't just discouraging, it's isolating, because it makes you feel like your body has a different set of rules than everyone else's, like you're somehow the exception to every weight loss tip you've ever read, every promise any program has ever made. And the worst part is, most of what you've been told about how to lose weight fast isn't just ineffective, it's actively making the problem worse. Here's the truth that the fitness industry doesn't want to center its marketing around: stubborn belly fat, particularly the kind that refuses to respond to dieting and exercise, is not primarily a caloric problem. It is a metabolic and hormonal problem. When your metabolism is dysregulated, when certain hormones are chronically elevated or suppressed, your body essentially locks fat in place, especially around the midsection, as a protective survival mechanism. You can cut your calories to the floor, and your body will simply slow its metabolic rate to compensate. You can add more cardio, and your cortisol levels will spike, which actually signals your body to hold on to fat rather than burn it. This is why so many well-intentioned people who are genuinely committed to slimming down find themselves spinning in place. The strategy they're using isn't aligned with the biology they're working with, and no amount of discipline can override a hormonal environment that is fundamentally opposed to fat burning. This is where the pink salt trick enters the picture. And it's worth being honest up front. When most people first hear about it, they dismiss it. It sounds too simple. It sounds like the kind of thing that belongs in the category of wellness folklore rather than legitimate science. And that skepticism is understandable, because we have all been burned before by promises that turned out to be empty. But the mechanism behind what pink Himalayan salt does inside the human body, specifically in relation to hydration at the cellular level, electrolyte balance, adrenal function, and the hormonal cascade that governs whether your body stores or burns fat, is not folklore. It's physiology. And once you understand the mechanism, the results that people are reporting start to make complete sense. Himalayan pink salt is compositionally distinct from regular table salt in ways that matter enormously to the body. While processed table salt is essentially pure sodium chloride, stripped of everything else during industrial processing, pink Himalayan salt contains over 80 trace minerals, including magnesium, potassium, calcium, iron, and zinc. These aren't just decorative additions. They are the raw materials your cells use to maintain electrochemical balance, regulate nerve signaling, support adrenal health, and keep your metabolism operating at its intended capacity. When these minerals are chronically deficient, which they are in a massive percentage of the population eating a modern diet, your body enters a low-grade state of cellular stress. This suppresses metabolic function, elevates inflammatory markers, and creates the precise hormonal environment in which fat burning becomes nearly impossible and fat storage becomes the default. The specific trick that's generating so much attention involves consuming a small, precise quantity of pink Himalayan salt dissolved in water first thing in the morning, before food, before coffee, before anything else enters your system. The timing is deliberate and the mechanism is specific. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is in a mild state of dehydration. Your cortisol levels are naturally at their peak. This is biologically normal and is what wakes you up. But in people who are carrying excess weight, particularly excess abdominal fat, this morning cortisol spike is often exaggerated and prolonged. It's one of the primary drivers of fat retention around the midsection. The trace minerals in pink Himalayan salt, when consumed in this specific window, work synergistically to support adrenal function, moderate the cortisol response, and initiate a chain of metabolic signaling that primes the body for fat burning rather than fat storage throughout the rest of the day. Now, this is not the entirety of the picture. There are several supporting practices, specific healthy meal plans, particular timing strategies for food intake, and targeted fitness approaches that dramatically amplify the effect of this morning ritual. And we are going to cover all of them in detail. But the reason this trick is the foundation is because it addresses the upstream problem. Most weight loss strategies try to manage fat at the level of caloric arithmetic. This strategy works at the level of the metabolic and hormonal environment. And when you change the environment, everything else changes with it. People who have been trying to lose weight for years, who have tried every approach and felt defeated by every outcome, are using this simple morning protocol and reporting that something fundamental has shifted, that their body is finally responding, finally cooperating, finally moving in the direction they've wanted it to move for a very long time. What you will learn here is not a shortcut, it is a correction. And corrections, when they're aimed at the right problem, can produce results that feel nothing short of extraordinary. So, let's get into exactly how to do this, the meal plans that support it, and the simple exercises that will accelerate your results starting today. Thanks for watching, and let's get started. Let us get more specific, because the details here are what separate genuine metabolic transformation from temporary water weight fluctuation. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the effort to lose belly fat is the role of hydration. Not hydration in the superficial sense of drinking 8 glasses of water a day, but hydration at the cellular level, which is an entirely different physiological category. Your cells can be surrounded by fluid and still be functionally dehydrated if the electrolyte ratios inside and outside the cell membrane are not properly balanced. This condition, intracellular dehydration, impairs virtually every metabolic process your body depends on, including the enzymatic reactions responsible for fat burning, the mitochondrial functions that govern energy production, and the hormonal signaling pathways that tell your body whether it is safe to release stored fat or whether it needs to hold on to every calorie it can find. The minerals in pink Himalayan salt are electrolytes. Specifically, they are the raw materials your body uses to maintain the concentration gradients across cell membranes that determine whether your cells are operating at full metabolic capacity or in a conservation mode. When you consume this salt in the morning in the right amount and in water rather than food, the minerals are absorbed rapidly and efficiently. They begin correcting intracellular dehydration within minutes. And as cellular hydration improves, the metabolic functions that were suppressed begin to come back online. Boost metabolism is a phrase that gets used carelessly in the fitness and wellness world, often attached to supplements or foods that have little legitimate claim to the term. But what we are describing here is not a marketing claim. It is a cellular restoration process. When your mitochondria have the electrolytes they need to function, they burn more fat. When your adrenal glands have the minerals they need to modulate cortisol, they produce a hormonal environment that is conducive to slimming rather than storing. This is not speculation. This is biochemistry. Now, let us talk about the specific people who tend to respond most dramatically to this approach, because understanding the profile helps clarify why it works so well for a particular category of chronic struggle. The individuals who see the fastest results with this pink salt trick are overwhelmingly people who have been eating a processed high-sodium diet for years while paradoxically being mineral deficient. This seems contradictory. How can someone be consuming too much salt and still be deficient in minerals? The answer is that processed table salt provides sodium in quantities that overwhelm the body's regulatory systems while providing essentially none of the supporting minerals that allow that sodium to be used properly. The result is chronic low-grade mineral depletion dressed up as adequate mineral intake. These people are not just trying to lose weight fast against a neutral metabolic backdrop. They are trying to lose weight against a backdrop of cellular stress, adrenal fatigue, and systemic inflammation. And they keep failing not because of a lack of effort, but because the metabolic environment they are working in makes fat burning physiologically difficult. There is also an important psychological dimension to this that is worth acknowledging directly, because mental health and the ability to sustain a weight loss journey are more connected than most fitness content is willing to admit. Chronic failure at weight loss, particularly when you have genuinely tried, genuinely committed, genuinely done the work and still not seen results, is not just frustrating. It erodes your relationship with your own body. It creates a framework of helplessness that makes it harder to take action, harder to trust new information, and harder to sustain the behaviors that are necessary for lasting change. When people start seeing results quickly, even small results, even a few pounds of abdominal fat beginning to shift in the first week, something important happens psychologically. The framework of helplessness begins to dissolve. The belief that change is possible for you specifically, not just for people with different genetics or better willpower, starts to form. And that belief is one of the most powerful drivers of sustained behavior change that exists. This is one of the reasons the pink salt trick, when it works, tends to work as a catalyst for much larger transformations. It does not just address the physical problem. It creates the experiential evidence that allows people to believe a different outcome is genuinely available to them. Combine this morning protocol with the right approach to healthy meal plans and the effect compounds significantly. The nutritional framework that works best alongside this trick is not one built around restriction or elimination. It is built around mineral density and metabolic support. The goal is to feed the same cellular processes that the pink salt is initiating to give the mitochondria the fuel they need to sustain elevated fat burning throughout the day, and to keep cortisol and insulin in the moderate ranges where the body's fat-burning pathways remain open and active. This means prioritizing foods that are rich in magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins, which are the cofactors for the energy-producing reactions in every cell. It means structuring meals in ways that prevent the blood sugar spikes and crashes that trigger cortisol responses and subsequent fat storage signals. And it means timing food intake in a way that works with the body's natural circadian rhythms rather than against them. Because when you eat matters almost as much as what you eat when you are trying to eliminate abdominal fat at the metabolic level. The weight loss tips that have the most impact here are not the ones about counting macros or finding the willpower to say no to things you enjoy. The ones that matter are the ones that change the internal environment that create the conditions under which fat burning becomes the path of least resistance rather than an uphill battle against your own biology. Everything in this video is oriented around that principle, and the more you understand about how your body actually works, the more obvious it becomes that the approach most people have been taking is solving the wrong problem entirely. By this point, you have a working understanding of why the pink salt trick produces the results it does and why those results tend to come faster than people expect when they have spent years trying other approaches without success. But knowledge without a specific, actionable protocol is just interesting information. So let us walk through exactly how to implement this, the precise method, the right quantities, the timing, the supporting practices, and the fitness component that ties everything together into a complete system for sustainable fat burning and lasting body transformation. The morning protocol is the anchor. You will need high-quality pink Himalayan salt, not table salt, not sea salt, pink Himalayan specifically. Because the trace mineral profile is what makes the mechanism work, the quantity is approximately a quarter teaspoon dissolved in 12 to 16 ounces of room temperature water. Room temperature matters because cold water temporarily constricts blood vessels in the digestive tract, slowing absorption of the minerals you are trying to get into your cells quickly. Drink this before anything else in the morning, before coffee, before food, before supplements. Give your body 15 to 20 minutes to absorb it before you consume anything else. During this window, the minerals are being taken up rapidly into a system that has been fasting for 8 hours and is primed to absorb. The cortisol normalization effect begins within this window, and by the time you eat your first meal, your metabolic environment has been meaningfully shifted from fat storage mode toward fat burning mode. The first meal of the day should be structured to sustain and extend this shift. Protein is essential here not just for satiety but because protein intake triggers a thermogenic response, meaning your body burns more calories processing protein than it does processing carbohydrates or fats. More importantly in this context, adequate protein in the morning stabilizes blood sugar and prevents the mid-morning insulin spike that would otherwise re-engage fat storage signaling. Eggs are exceptional for this purpose. They are rich in choline, which supports liver function and fat metabolism, and they contain most of the B vitamins that serve as cofactors for the mitochondrial reactions you are trying to support. Pair them with leafy greens for magnesium content and a small amount of healthy fat from avocado or olive oil for sustained energy, and you have a breakfast that extends the metabolic window opened by the pink salt protocol for several hours. The fitness component of this system does not require hours in a gym. In fact, for people whose cortisol is elevated, which is true of most people carrying significant abdominal fat, long, intense cardio sessions can actually be counterproductive because they further spike cortisol and trigger the hormonal cascade that promotes fat retention around the midsection. What works far better for eliminate abdominal fat in a metabolically stressed body is a combination of short resistance training sessions and low-intensity steady-state movement. Resistance training, lifting weights or working against your body weight, signals your body to preserve and build muscle tissue. Muscle is metabolically expensive to maintain, which means the more of it you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate. This is the most reliable long-term strategy to boost metabolism because it changes the composition of your body in a way that permanently elevates the rate at which you burn fat, even at rest. You do not need elaborate equipment or complex programming. 3 to 4 sessions per week of 30 to 40 minutes, focused on compound movements that engage multiple large muscle groups simultaneously, is sufficient to generate this effect. Complement this with daily walking, genuine, sustained walking for 30 to 60 minutes, ideally outdoors in natural light. This is not just a gentle cardiovascular stimulus. Morning light exposure is one of the most underappreciated regulators of the circadian rhythms that govern cortisol, insulin sensitivity, and sleep quality. When your circadian system is well regulated, every other aspect of your metabolic function improves. Sleep quality in particular has a profound effect on fat burning and the ability to lose weight fast in a healthy, sustainable way, because deep, restorative sleep is when your body performs most of its hormonal rebalancing, including the reduction of cortisol and the normalization of leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that govern hunger and satiety. Poor sleep creates a hormonal environment that promotes overeating, slows metabolism, and makes fat loss nearly impossible regardless of diet. The morning walk that exposes you to natural light in the early hours of the day is one of the most effective tools available for improving sleep quality, and by extension for improving every aspect of your health and slimming progress. The mental health resources and psychological strategies that support this process are the final piece. This is not a soft addition to a hard science protocol. The research on the relationship between chronic stress, cortisol, and abdominal fat is unambiguous. They are directly and causally linked. Anything you do to reduce chronic psychological stress is directly reducing one of the primary hormonal drivers of belly fat accumulation. This does not have to mean meditation or journaling if those practices do not resonate with you. It means building daily practices that activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that is the biological opposite of the stress response. Slow breathing exercises, time in nature, genuine social connection, creative engagement, rest without guilt, these are not luxuries, they are metabolic interventions. And when combined with the pink salt morning protocol, the mineral-rich healthy meal plans, the fitness approach, and the sleep optimization strategy, they create a comprehensive system in which your body's biology is finally aligned with your intentions rather than working against them. This is what losing weight healthily actually means, not white-knuckling your way through restriction while your hormones undermine every effort, but creating the biological conditions in which fat loss is the natural expected outcome of how you are living. The pink salt trick is the entry point because it is simple, immediate, and physiologically significant enough to produce results that create momentum. But the full picture is a life that is structured in a way your body recognizes as safe, nourished, and supported, and in that environment the weight loss, the fitness gains, the mental clarity, and the physical confidence you have been working toward become not just possible but inevitable. There's a natural solution to speed up your metabolism, control cravings, and support your weight loss journey naturally and effectively. Click the link in the first pinned comment to start transforming your body. If you want to truly transform your body and learn how to lose belly fat healthily, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll share practical strategies and little-known secrets to boost your metabolism and keep the weight off for good. Click now and discover how to take your weight loss to the next level.